Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Running the Bases podcast. I'm your host, Michael Garaffa. I'm joined today by Ryan Blank, Nick Nath, and then Marco Peralta will be joining us eventually. He's going to be a little late today, but that's all right. He will be joining us, and we are happy to have him. But happy Sunday, everybody. It is Sunday, November 3rd, and we hope you are all having a great week. We hope you're all having a great day.
It is actually November 8th, not November 3rd.
I thought I said November 8th. Did I say November 3rd?
Yep, the election was on November 3rd, and that was Tuesday.
Wow, I'm so caught up in the election. My brain told me it was November 3rd. Wow, I'm really...
Hey, we're here to get everyone's mind off politics.
Yes, that's the point. We are here today. Oh, wow, Nick, your screen, like, you were frozen and then you magically reappeared and your camera was beautiful. But hello, everybody, and welcome. We're happy to have you all here. We're hoping that we can be your escape from the world today and talk about Major League Baseball. As you can tell by the title, this is our 2020 Running the Bases Awards show, where we will pick our award winners for the 2020 Major League Baseball season. So in today's show, we will be announcing and voting for Manager of the Year, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, and MVP. There are going to be 4 players in each category that we will present and then cast our vote. Mind you, we added an extra player into these, and they aren't necessarily going to be exactly the same people that MLB chose for these positions. So keep that in mind as we go about. And then a little bit of an announcement for you guys as we look ahead to the future of the show. Next week is our season finale for season 2, and it is going to be a 2-hour special. It is going to be our off-season signings predictions show. That is the show that initially brought us all together into a group of 4, which was so much fun last year. And then that is going to be starting at 8:30, a little bit of a different time, 8:30 Pacific time, 10:30 Eastern time. You can, actually 8:30 Mountain time now, I guess you could say. But we're going to start the show off with a review of who won our regular season predictions and who is going to have to give that winner a t-shirt, the winner of our sweepstakes that we began in the beginning of the year. So that's going to be fun. We're happy for that. And obviously we've got a lot of things going up for the off-season predictions show. We're going to get into that a little bit more next week. So make sure you are here next week. Yes, Ryan.
Can we get an update on that, on who is slated to get someone a shirt?
Well, we don't know yet because we made predictions for Cy Young, MVP, Rookie of the Year and stuff, and we'll find those things out in the upcoming week.
So hold on.
What?
Should I be in good standing? Because one of my guys, because my MVP is actually a final candidate.
You can be in good standing. It doesn't mean you're going to win. We'll find out this week.
I just care about not getting one of y'all a shirt. That's all I care about.
You can get if you win and if you lose and I win, you can buy me a $4 shirt off of Fanatics. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me.
No, I'm probably gonna buy you a $4 shirt off DHgate.
Oh. Hey, it's a gift from you to me, so it's all right. That's fine. But we've got a fun show ahead of us today. So what we're going to do is we are going to first announce who is in line for all of these positions. We're going to go and start off with Manager of the Year. I'm going to announce who the finalists are, and then we are going to vote on them. Marco's not here right now, so we will. Do you guys think we should run through all of them and then vote on all of them after we go through them all, or go run through Manager of the Year, vote for Manager of the Year, run through Cy Young, whatever?
My friend, one by one.
Okay.
Yeah,
we will go. Okay. So we'll just, when Marco joins, we will have him give his votes for the spots he missed, because we obviously don't want to exclude Marco. This is a very important decision that we are going to be making. So we are really happy to also, Ryan, my girlfriend also wrote to me and told me it's November 8th, not 3rd. So I guess I did say that. I didn't even realize that I said that. I swear.
I have the same mind.
I swear in my head, I thought I said November 8th. I mean, it's very strange.
It happened. It's early in the morning.
It happens, yes. I've already been up. I've been up for 3 hours. I shouldn't be tired, but whatever. All right, so let's get on into it. We start off with. Oh yeah, it's been 3 hours. Yeah, I'm pumping through the day, but we're gonna start off our night. Well, our night. See, it's just not clicking today. We're gonna start off our day today with Manager of the Year. You know why? It's because it's just 3 of us, and without Marco here, Marco normally sets me in line already, and he's just like, all right, let's go. And Marco not being here is throwing the rhythm off, because he's always here at the beginning. Yes, There you go, Nick. See, being the hype man. All right, so manager of the year. Our finalists for manager of the year, we're going to start on the American League side and then go to the National League side. On the American League side, we have Kevin Cash, the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays, Charlie Montoyo, the Blue Jays manager, Rick Renteria, the White Sox manager, and Rocco Baldelli, the Twins manager. Now, all four of these guys had really solid years. Kevin Cash led his team to the World Series. Obviously, it's also important to keep in mind that when we look back in a week from now on the voting that took place from the actual voters, it is important to note that they voted on these things before the season ended. So do you guys think we should vote based on that, or if we should include postseason in this?
I don't think it's fair to include postseason.
Okay. You gotta go regular season.
Okay, I completely agree. I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page for that. So, Kevin Cash led his team to a division title, beat out the Yankees. Important to note. Charlie Montoyo brought a team that nobody really thought would do well and made him a postseason team. Rick Renteria, a really good year, even though unfortunately he got fired after the season. And then Rocco Baldelli with the Twins, who had yet another really great year. So, I think starting off with Kevin Cash, we'll do votes 1 to 10, but I'll also let you guys do half. So if you want to give like a 6.5, you can do that, because that might make it a little bit more precise. So starting off with Kevin Cash, all around a really good season for him. I think Kevin Cash is a phenomenal manager. I'm going to give him a 9. I think it's just a really great year, and I think he's just such a really solid manager. Yeah, Nick, you can go first, and then we'll go to Ryan.
Honestly, before the World Series started, before Game 6, Kevin Cash is one of my favorite managers in the game. But like we said, we're not including postseason. But you look at that Rays lineup, and you don't really see a superstar, really. They don't make that much money. Garrett Cole makes more money than their entire team. So for me, him managing that team that well and leading into the number one seed in the AL, I gotta give Cash a 9.5.
Nice. All right.
For the job he's done and for just what he's done with that team.
I agree.
Yeah,
very good year.
I'm going 9.5 for Kevin Cash. Beat out the Yankees. Best record in the AL. Division title. The payroll on that team is $28.3 million. And he took them best record in the AL, division title. And I'm going to say it, AL champions. 2 games away from a World Series. What else can you ask from the guy? Yeah, he screwed up. He made a drastic mistake in Game 6. Whatever. Still one of the greatest managers in this game of baseball.
Yep, you guys hit the nail on the head right there. So then we go to Charlie Montoyo, and I'll throw it to you, Nick, first. What I think we should do is we'll just kind of like flip-flop. Like, Nick, you'll start this time, and then Ryan, you'll start the next one, so we can get different perspectives in. So, Nick, you started off with Charlie Montoyo, manager of the Blue Jays.
For how much the Blue Jays went through this season with not playing in their home ballpark, stuff like that, I think this Blue Jays team is set up for a lot of success in the future. Obviously, I didn't give them a lot of credit for making the playoffs, which is my fault, because that team is just so young. That team is just full of former All-Star sons, and I'm just excited for him to compete for the future at this point. And Charlie did a great job with this team, And just yesterday also, they re-signed Robbie Ray, which I think was an important piece to the rotation. So for me, I give this guy an 8. This is a young team. No one had them really even inching close to the playoffs, but in my opinion, he did a great job with this young team. I got to give him an 8 for what he's done in Toronto.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go actually an 8.5 for Montoya. Because looking at this Blue Jays team, they went from a 95-loss team to a playoff team. That's insane. He was incredible. And this team was without their best player in Bo Bichette for a while. They didn't have Bo Bichette for a lot of the season, and they still made the playoffs. Yeah, they got swept by the Rays. That's the best team in the AL. He took them to the playoffs. There's so much potential and excitement for this organization and team with Biggio, Bichette, Gurriel, Guerrero. There's so many players there that they're kind of set for the future. And in free agency, they have a chance to really get themselves some pieces to put them over the top.
Yeah, you guys really made it clear, this is a team that is not a postseason team in 2020, and Charlie Montoyo brought them there. I agree with Nick. I'm going with an 8 on this one, which makes his final score 24.5, but still, for a first-year manager with this team, he was a first-year manager, if I recall correctly, but he really brought this team to the next level, and that's what they needed. And for the Blue Jays, a bright future. And like you said, Nick, with Robbie Ray signing yesterday, this is going to be, they're poised to have a really big offseason. And again, we'll talk about that next week at more length. Ryan, we'll throw it over to you. You'll start us off with Rick Renteria and the White Sox.
Can I just mention that it's really funny that he gets fired and then the White Sox give him a shout out on Twitter saying, "Congratulations, you fired him." I don't get it. First off, I don't get why they fired him in the first place. This is Jerry Reinsdorf being Jerry Reinsdorf because he wanted Tony La Russa. He missed out on him before. He wasn't missing out on him again. That's really how I see it. Renteria should have never been fired. He had the respect, he had the support, and he had the connection with those players. So Renteria should have never been fired. What he did this year was terrific. He had a team full of talent that he took to the playoffs, and yeah, they may have disappointed, but still, they were a team that competed in a very tough Central Division, minus the bottom two teams. But it's honestly, he did a terrific job, and he shouldn't have been fired. So I'm going to give him an 8.
It was such a funny situation seeing him getting fired after, and then the day after, they're like, "Oh, Manager of the Year finalists." And then the funnier part was Tony La Russa signing, and then they show AJ Hinch's signature on the Twitter release. The White Sox really haven't gotten off to a good start this offseason. But for Rick Renteria, this is a good team that I expected to do very well. The problem that I have is that in the last stretch, they didn't hold on. They had it. I mean, they had this division in their hands, and they just let it slip away. That's why I'm going to give them a 7.5, because it would have been an 8 maybe it would have even been an 8.5 to 9 if they won the division, but because they just couldn't hold on at the very end, it does hurt them a little bit in my eyes. So I'm giving them a 7.5.
Yeah, Michael, you just said it. This team had a lot of expectations coming into the season. Obviously, they followed the expectation until the last half of the season. Honestly, it's just a funny situation. A Manager of the Year candidate in our division, Ryan, gets fired, so I'm fine with it. They helped us out. But yeah, like you said, this team has a lot of talent. This team is poised. Baseball is back in the Chicago White Sox organization now. The rebuild's over. We can say that confidently. They will probably run. Them and the Twins will run the AL Central for a couple more years since we're probably out of college. But in my opinion, I give them a 7 because, like what Michael said, they just didn't hold on to that last stretch of the season. And there's just a little too much talent to be that disappointing in the playoffs, if that makes sense. I know this is a regular season award, but factoring everything that's happened, I can understand a part of me why he got fired, but really I don't know why. I would have given him at least 2 more years, but it's just my opinion. Yeah, so yeah, 7 is what I give him.
Yeah, that was just it's an unfortunate ending to the season for Rick Renteria, and I think that's the problem, is that he was so close to getting that divisional title and then just lost it. And then the team that did get the divisional title were the Twins, and that brings us to the fourth and final opportunity here for Manager of the Year. This is Rocco Baldelli. And Rocco Baldelli here, the leader of the Twins, brought them to the playoffs and another really good year. And I think he was snubbed because he was the fourth person we say in all of these is going to be the one that didn't get chosen by MLB for these ones. So this is where Rocco Baldelli falls. He didn't even get in the top 3. And I think that's unfortunate because he led the Twins yet again to another playoff spot, a really good year for him. And I think he deserves a little more credit. So I'm going to give him an 8.5. I think he had a really solid season, and that Twins team just is set up for the future.
Yeah, like I said before, Twins and White Sox are going to run the AL Central for a couple more years, and that's all due to their managing and what they've done within the organization. The Twins had a great year this year. Can't fault them for that. They won the division, obviously. Obviously, they're cursed in the playoffs for whatever reason, but I'll take it. Whatever. But yeah, like you said, they're set up for the future. They're in a great position. I'm gonna give Rocco a 6.5 just because obviously you said he was fourth on this list. He's not even a finalist at this point, but he has enough talent and enough firepower to get through the next couple years in Minnesota.
Honestly, I think the Twins had a down year.
Well, they won the division, so no.
Well, let me tell you why. The production of the lineup went down. And they're still a very impressive team. I'm still not bought on the Twins being the real deal, especially until they win a playoff game. That's really how it has to go. They have not proven to be a contender yet once we reach the postseason. So I know we're not factoring in postseason, but I think Marco Peralta is a terrific manager. He is. But the lineup did not produce as much. The pitching staff was pretty solid this year, but I don't think that he is manager of the year quality again. So I'm going to go with a 7.
All right, not bad. That brings me to a 22. And now we have, at the moment, Kevin Cash is leading this race with a 28.5. Marco's going to be, I'm sorry, I have to make a political reference. Marco's going to be the swing state here. He's going to determine the winner of the manager of the year when he does make it in. So we can't officially announce a winner. This is two current events for me. I'm sorry. Marco's going to be the one that determines the winner. We'll announce the winner of this once Marco does come on in and gives us his numbers. So that throws us to the National League side. We've got 4 more candidates here, and we started off with Don Mattingly, the manager of the Marlins. Nick, take it away.
Wow. This was just great to begin with. Obviously, the Marlins were a Cinderella story coming into the season. Obviously, with the COVID outbreak, with the young players they had to like make so many acquisitions just to even like get the roster right. So for this team to even inch close to the playoffs, make some noise in the NL East, I honestly got to give him a 10. This was just, he probably, in my opinion, was the best manager in baseball this season for how much stuff they went through. They got through so much adversity. They managed to keep winning, and honestly, they have a nice future set up. The NL East is very competitive with the Braves, Nationals, teams like that. But I wouldn't be surprised to see the Marlins just because obviously they won a playoff series this season. So anything can happen for the Marlins. So great job by Don Mattingly. I got to give him a 10 on this one.
Wow. Huh. I'm going to go with a 9.5. Another great manager. First 2 years, he has 100 lost seasons. And now look at them. Playoffs. They have a great future ahead of them too. But the main thing that hits me with him that he should get this award is that a lot of their players, 18 players, tested positive in the first week. This total year, they made 164 moves, I think. 64 or 164, one of those two. And they made the playoffs. They had to sign guys, bring guys up kind of off the street, in a sense. And they started out 7-1 and made the playoffs. Don Mattingly, losing records his first 2 seasons. Now look at him. Playoffs. He wins this award.
Yeah, and it's also Ryan. I know you just went with that, and Marco is now here with us. He has joined. Marco, I'll give you a little lowdown on what we're doing here. So we're doing the manager of the year. You're going to give him a rating 1 to 10, like we did a few weeks ago with the World Series. But you can include halves. So if you want to give like a 4.5 or whatever, you can do that. And then this way we're getting a little bit more accurate. We already did the American League side. After we do Don Mattingly, do we want to swing back or do we want to just finish the NL and then go back to the AL? I think it's smarter to go finish NL and then go back. NL. Yeah, so we'll finish the National League and then we'll go circle back to the American League. And Marco, you're the swing state in those 4 AL finals.
Electoral college votes, baby. Let's go.
Yes, exactly. So for Don Mattingly here, I think you guys really did a great job. And Marco, you'll go after me because Nick and Ryan already went. But the season that Don Mattingly had was phenomenal. I mean, he brought this Marlins team from a 0 to a hero. That's why I'm giving him a 10. I've got to give him a 10 on this one. You can't, if Don Mattingly doesn't win this award, there's a big problem because this has just been a phenomenal season for him. And I give him all the props in the world. he's such an amazing manager. Unfortunately, couldn't do it with the Dodgers, but he's really figuring this Marlins team out.
Well, Nick, did you choose Don as well?
Well, we're not choosing yet. You're just giving your numbers.
Okay, gotcha.
Nick gave him a 10, though.
Okay, so for Don Mattingly, I will have to give him a 9, though. He's my selection, but the reason why is I would have loved to seen what this Marlins team would have done in a 162 game season. You know, I think that's the only what's left of that 10 is what would have happened if it was 162 games. You know, and I have to give him props. He did. This team definitely, no one thought they were going to get to the hot start they got to in 2020. No one expected it. They said it was going to be by a landslide by either the Mets, or which they didn't, or even the Nationals, but they didn't. You know, so it just surprised a whole lot of people, and he deserves it more than anybody else. I was going to pick the Padres guy as well, but the fact about the Padres guy is that you got to defend your players, man. You got to defend your players no matter what happens, you know, and that's unacceptable in baseball, especially as a manager, because you kind of like to face the leader of the club in the clubhouse. So you have to defend it. You have to defend your players no matter what happens, and he failed that. So I have to give that guy like around like a 6, even though he made the playoffs.
We'll get to him in a minute. We'll get down to Jace Tingler in a moment. We're just going one by one here. Okay. I know you weren't here. You don't. I know.
No, it's my bad, guys. It was a busy morning today.
It's okay. I get it. Things happen. It's okay. You're here now. That's all that matters. It's
awesome.
We're happy you're here. So we move on now to David Ross and the Cubs. So David Ross, a great year for this Cubs team, but unfortunately, I just don't really think it was as good of a year. Look, he did a great job as manager. He came in, took over Joe Maddon's role, and did a really good job. Connected very well with the players. I'm going to give him an 8.5 because I like the way he connects with those players. I just can't really go all the way because I don't think he's got the team just didn't perform very well. Not necessarily his fault, but still, either way, they just couldn't really gel very well on the field. Ryan, you're up.
My bad. Thought we were going.
You're good. You're good. We were going to Nick, and then we flipped it up, so it's fine.
Okay. David Ross. Got to give him credit. Honestly, took a team that missed the playoffs to the playoffs, and I was actually a fan of this hire. A lot of people weren't. This next year could be their last ride with the core 5 before a lot of them hit free agency. They could end up trading a few of them. But David Ross did a good job this year. Got them back to the playoffs. They were a very surprising team at the beginning of the year. They cooled off, but still got them to the playoffs, and they were impressive. So I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah, you guys said it best. He came in. I miss him on Monday Night Baseball, one of the best voices we had at ESPN. But yeah, this is just a fan favorite guy. You know, you look at him, you see him talk, you just think, wow, what a great guy, what a great baseball mind, if that makes sense. You know, like you guys said earlier, though, like this team just didn't gel well, and that's not his fault at all. I blame a lot of it on that core 5. You know, they batted terribly in the postseason, batted terribly in the regular season. You know, and I don't know if that's just because of COVID season, or I don't know if that's just because maybe they're just done playing with each other. But all in all, it's not his fault at all. I'll give him a 7.5. 7.5.
For David Ross, I respect the guy a whole lot. You know, he's such a great manager. And like he took this role like he's been there before. You know, he knows how to be in the clubhouse because he was the leader of the Cubs when they won their World Series in 2016. Obviously, he wasn't the biggest player on the team, but the one that was the leader of the club, you know, of the players. So the thing about David Ross is that he came in, like I said, like he's been here before, and he gave these guys a reason to play with each other once again. Did they play good? Awesome? No. But I gotta respect the guy. He took the job and he did a phenomenal job. And let's see what happens next season with all these players maybe getting traded or getting maybe even released at the end of the season because of free agency, or they leave because of free agency. So this is going to be a big season for him coming up in 2021. It's going to be his biggest season so far in his manager career. Who knows if after this season he stays on, or even after that he goes somewhere else. But 2021 is going to be his biggest season as a manager, and I have to give him an 8. I'll give him an 8.
All right, fair. So that brings David Ross total to 31. So not bad. He will finish. He's so far in second. Don Mattingly is in the lead. And then that leads us over to Jace Tingler and the Padres. Ryan, take it away.
Yeah, Tingler did a great job this year. Took a Padres team that hadn't had a winning season in over a decade, hadn't been to the playoffs in over a decade, and took them to the playoffs. One of the most exciting teams to watch, and a team that has a great future with a great core. I had my criticism of Jace Tingler with how he managed the bullpen a little bit and how he didn't defend Tatis, which frustrated me. But overall, he did a great job in his first season as manager. So I'm going to give him 8.
Yeah, Ryan said it best. I think this is the first time in my lifetime watching baseball that the Padres have been relevant. And that's not a knock on them. It's just a compliment on Jace Tingler and what he's done with the Padres organization. It can't be easy managing a diva like Manny Machado. It can't be easy managing the stardom of Tatis. He was put in a difficult spot with that Rangers game. Personally, I think he should defend his player, but it's over. It's done. All in all, he had a great season. The Padres are now relevant, and they are the Dodgers' biggest threat in that division now for years to come. So I got to give him an 8. This is like I said, the first time the Padres have been relevant, and I think he deserves credit for that.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Nick on this one. They had a great season. I'll be honest with you guys. I think I've told you guys before, but when we faced the Padres, I was a little bit nervous because you just never know where the series would have swinged in the NLDS. So, but the fact we swept them, I think that's a bonus for me. That's really happy for me. But he made the Padres a team again. The team hasn't done very well for a long time. And he kind of made this thing happen the way it's supposed to happen, or people were expecting it to happen, or what Padre fans want to happen every single season. You have a great lineup when you have Eric Hosmer, Fernando Tatis, and Manny Machado, 2 big 1-2-3 punches right there in the lineup. A bullpen, it was pretty iffy. Starting pitching also wasn't very good because of the health, but the team seems to go in the right direction. And that's a bonus, and that's a good thing for the Padres. So I'm about to give them an 8 as well, like Nick.
Yeah, you guys really summed it up, but I also want to play a lot on what Ryan said, where, I really was impacted this year with Jace Tingler on him not backing up his players. Once he didn't back Tatis up after that game with the Grand Slam, I don't care what you think about it as a person or a player or as a manager, you've got to back up your player publicly. Whether you don't back him up in the clubhouse is fine, but that really stuck with me. He led this Padres team to really great places. I give him a lot of credit for that. He took a Padres team that wasn't necessarily a 2020 forefront contender, made them a forefront contender, and that's going to be something that we will remember Jace Tingler this year for. But I also really can't give him full props just because of his managerial leadership. I'm going to have to give him a 7 for this one, which will wrap him up with a 31. So Jace Tingler finishes in a tie with David Ross, a solid season for both of them. And then we wrap it up with Brian Snitker, the one that was not on the ballot for the finalists. And we'll start it off with Nick.
Well, for me, it's unfortunate that he wasn't a finalist. The three candidates on this list are all deserving of a finalist position, but Brian just got left off. The Braves, in my opinion, they performed exactly as I thought they would. Honestly, I was expecting a little bit of a better season from Acuna, but obviously Freeman stepped in perfectly and took over that team and said that, hey, I'm still here, it's my team. But what Brian did this year, I think, was really important is that he solidified his pitching staff. Going into the season, I think he was all about the bats going into Atlanta, bats. But no, he got Soroka. He actually has pitchers now that he can rely on for big games now. And I'm excited to see what this team can do in a 162-game season because I do think they have potential to be number 1 seed in the NL, which I thought they were going to be this year. So for me, I'm going to give him a 7.5, but I think next year he could definitely be up in that 8, 9, 9.5 range. But we just have to see for next year.
Yeah, I agree with Nick on this one too as well. I think you're copying my answers, Nick, once again, like we did a couple weeks ago. But no, he did a phenomenal job. The only reason I'm not putting him very, very high is because I was expecting the Braves to be this good. I value like how low the team was and how big or high or how high they brought him. Does that make sense? That's why I put Don Malley on top of other managers. But well, Nick said he made his pitching staff better, which gave him a chance in the playoffs. Obviously, they blew a 3-1 lead, and obviously good for me. But they did the right moves when it came to the pitching staff because that was one of their weakest points a couple seasons ago. They didn't know how to pitch, but they had a really good offense, but no pitching. Now they have both. They have a great offense. Freddie Freeman, he's been on a tear these past couple seasons. That guy needs a World Series. Hopefully he gets it soon. Hopefully it's not against the Dodgers. Go into the World Series again, or he goes to the AL or something. But I have to give it to Brian. I'm going to give him a 7.5 because I was expecting this Braves team to be as good as they are. So if they make something big next year, then like Nick, he'll be like around the 9.5 talk right now.
So, I think I'm stealing your picks because I'm going with the 7.5 as well. And the reason for that is that he's a good manager. He's a very good manager. But the only issue is that you had Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna Jr., and Marcell Ozuna. And, you look at the pitching staff with their great years. Obviously, the bullpen hurt them. But you've got to make it a little bit further, in being like the number one team when you are having those kinds of players. And they competed heavily with the Dodgers, but I am going with that 7.5 mark.
Brian Snitker, he's been one of the best managers in the entire National League and entire baseball past few years, but I can't go with him. I can't. 7. I just think that struggles in the playoffs, struggles with injuries didn't help him, but lineup did not produce throughout the entire season like we all thought it would. So I just got to go 7 on this one.
That wraps up the National League, and that is a 29.5. And now for Brian Snitker, it is an important thing for him. I mean, he's got a bright future, but that means that your official National League Manager of the Year for the Running the Bases podcast is Don Mattingly. We have voted him as your Manager of the Year. Well deserved. So now we flip back to Marco for the American League side. I'm not going to tell you who has the most votes, who has what votes. I'm just going to let you give your numbers. We started with Kevin Cash.
Oh, Kevin Cash. Man, I'll give him a 10 right out of the gate because of him pulling Blake Snell out of the game. I'll give him a 10 just for that. The thing about Kevin Cash, one of the best managers in baseball, but he's just too in love with analytics, and that could really hurt you. We saw that in the World Series, and man, Kevin Cash, I have to give him a 9 on that one because you just don't pull your best pitcher out of a game when he's dealing. You don't do that. You just don't do that. So I have to give him a 9.
All right, and then the next person up is Charlie Montoyo of the Blue Jays.
I wasn't really impressed by this guy. I think because there wasn't many great managers in the American League, you have to fill in somehow. So I have to give him a 6 on this one.
All right, and then the next person up is Rick Renteria of the White Sox, the former manager of the White Sox.
This is the guy I feel most bad about because he was in a tough division and he still made it to the playoffs. There was a point they were number 1, but they got all the way to number 3 and they made it as a wild card, and that sucks. And because of that, I'm going to give him an 8. I would have given him a 9 if he was a number 1, but I give him an 8.
All right. Then the next up and the last up is Rocco Baldelli of the Twins.
7.
I just realized that you can see the scores that are in the
I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it.
I didn't even realize the entire time I'm telling you I'm not going to tell you the scores, but you're looking at them in the document.
I was going to say it, but I was like, I'll just be quiet.
That was a real dumb moment for me there. Goodness gracious. All right. So that means that your American League Manager of the Year, as voted on by us here at Running the Bases podcast, is Kevin Cash of the Rays. as he is your American League Manager of the Year. Then we swoop over to the Rookie of the Year on the American League side. We'll give Marco, you will be the one to start this one off with Christian Javier. And just overall, I'll announce them first and then we'll go vote on them. But Christian Javier, a solid year for him, 5-2, 3.48 ERA, a .994 whip. Kyle Lewis, 262 batting average, 11 home runs, 801 OPS. Luis Robert, 233 average, 11 home runs, 738 OPS. And Willie Castro from the Tigers, a 349 batting average, 6 home runs, and a 932 OPS. So, Marco, we started off with you with Christian Javier.
Christian Javier, he had a great season, bro. Like, this guy came out of nowhere, and he was called up at the last minute by I don't even know their manager's name anymore. What's his name? The Astros manager? Dusty Baker. My bad. Oh, I couldn't forget Dusty Baker. I automatically thought about AJ Hinch. I don't know why I did that. But I forgot he's not there anymore. But the thing about Christian Javier is that he came out of nowhere and he did a job. You know, he really came in and he did a job because of the lack of pitching that the Astros had because of injuries and stuff like that. I think he gave him some kind of a hope for the Astros, and he did big in the playoffs as well, you know, to help him get to the ALCS. So Christian Javier, I'll give him we're doing the points again, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll give him a 9.5.
All right. Oh, wow. Solid.
I like the kid. I like the kid.
He is. He's a really good kid. He had a really good season, especially in the postseason. And because of that whip, I'm going to give him an 8.5. I don't know if I would go all the way to 9 yet because he didn't get to come up and play the entire year. But I think an 8.5 is pretty good for him. Ryan, if you're here, you're next. But if you're not, then
let's go with Nick.
We'll skip to Nick, and then we'll go back to Ryan.
Yeah, you know, there's all I see from Christian Javier is potential. You know, obviously we didn't get enough of a sample size to see what he can really do in a 162-game season, which is the case for all these guys. But for this guy in particular, I'm really intrigued to see what he would do if he got a solidified starting role in that rotation with the Astros. He could be a great number 2 to Greinke, or he could be a solid bullpen piece. He's very versatile in the way that Baker could use him, which I think makes him most dangerous. So in my opinion, I'm going to give him an 8 just because I didn't see enough from him this season personally, and I just think I can't wait to see him pitch next season.
Christian Javier, great season. He was big for them in the playoffs, but I don't think he is up there over 3 ERA. I think he was at 3.58, which isn't bad by any means, but not too stellar. I'm going to go 7.
That's not horrible. I mean, it's a 33. That's a pretty good number for Christian Javier. Then we have Kyle Lewis of the Seattle Mariners. What a first half this kid had. Really good year. 262 average isn't really great, but the 801 OPS is pretty solid. That's the highest, at bats wise, that's fairly high. And he also ties for the most home runs out of these guys. I'm going to go with an 8 for Kyle Lewis. A good first half, but struggled in the second half.
Am I up? Okay, so shoot, sorry, who are we talking about? I'm out of it right now.
Kyle Lewis,
he's my pick. I think it's so close between he and Luis Robert, but looking at the plate numbers, they're so close. But looking at Kyle Lewis, better average, better OBP, better slugging, better OPS plus, beats him in all categories besides RBIs, and it was a difference of 3. Same amount of home runs. I'm going Kyle Lewis, and I'm going to give him a 9.5. He came out of the water, and he was killing it. He was terrific for the Mariners this year, and he's a big piece of a very solid future for them.
Yeah, like Ryan said, Kyle Lewis is also my pick. This guy burst on this scene, literally he didn't even seem like a rookie at some points in the first half of the season, but you could kind of see the rookie part of him show up in the second half of the season, you know, struggled a little more, a couple more strikeouts than we wanted to see, you know, just a little rookie mistakes here and there, but I think he'll be a very, very solid piece for the future. Like Ryan said, he's also my pick for Rookie of the Year, so I'm going to give him a 9.5.
Yeah, I like Kyle Lewis a lot too. The only thing that sucks is that he was on a team that really didn't have a chance to make it into the playoffs, you know, in that tough division. But Kyle Lewis, like we said, he was great in the first half. It sucked we didn't see him really, really good in the second half. but he kind of made the Mariners somewhat of a hope to maybe sneak into the playoffs. I'm not saying he was or he really did, but you get what I'm saying. Like he was the kind of giving them some type of hope for the future as well. So I'm gonna give him a 9.5.
All right, that's a good number for Kyle Lewis. It's a 36.5, which puts him at the top spot. But then we go over to Luis Robert or Robert. I mean, the White Sox announcers called him Robert, so we'll just call him Robert for now. Ryan, I know you said Robert, so it's fine. But Ryan, you'll kick it off for him.
9. Like I said, it's super close between he and Kyle Lewis. But him batting in the 230s, lower OPS, OPS plus, slugging, on base percentage, all that lower. The only thing he really has on him is 3 RBIs. So I can't give it to him, but he gets a 9 because he's just been terrific. He can crush the ball, and he's proved to be a great piece for the future for the White Sox.
Yeah, like Ryan said, he'll be a huge part to the White Sox future. I was just disappointed in his average. 233 is really nothing to be too happy about, in my opinion. Just he struggled a lot this season with strikeouts. Obviously, he's a big, huge power guy, in my opinion, though. But you can't win an award with batting 233, in my opinion. So I got to give him an 8.
Yeah, I second Nick. Just the batting average is what got to me, because you're a big power guy and you hit some really great home runs. You're a crucial part of the team to make into the playoffs this season. So just that batting average, man, that's what gets to me. For me to potentially get this award for him, he has to hit like around like 260 or something, just like Kyle Lewis. But he hit 230. I have to give him a 9 for that one.
This is a tough one because I picked him to be the rookie of the year, the beginning of the year, but he just didn't perform as well, and I gave Kyle Lewis an 8, so I have to go for a 7 with Robert. What did you give him number-wise, Marco?
9. I give him a 9.
Okay, a 9. That's what I thought. So that brings him to a 33 as well, which puts him actually in a tie with Christian Javier. So that's pretty solid. And then we bring it up to the last spot, and it's fitting that Willie Castro, the Tiger, gets started off with Nick.
I'm excited, man. Oh my God, man. This guy just brings me so much. I'm not gonna lie to you. I had no idea he was going to be part of our future, but he showed up to play. Obviously, not a good sample size at all to see. Only showed up like the later half of the season, but what much is there to say? 6 home runs, 349 average. Obviously the average is a little up there because of the amount of games he played, but I see potential in him. I could be biased, but I see a lot of potential in him. I see a lot of firepower out of him, and I think we found one of the players for our future. So I'm gonna give him a 7.5.
I'm gonna give him a 2.
Oh, that's
Brutal.
I'm just kidding, Nick. I'm just kidding. I just want to get push your buttons a little bit. No, he's going to be a great part for your future. No one, like you said, Nick, no one thought he was going to be part of this organization, and he came up big. And you saw 349 batting average. Yes, he didn't play a lot of games this season, but it gives you some hope, like for the future. Are the Tigers going to be relevant next year? I don't think so. But hey, you got Willie Castro, you got AJ Hinch. We'll see what happens, man. You could get some trash bags. Get some trash cans and help Willie Castro hit a lot more home runs or something. But I gotta give him a 7. I gotta give him a 7.
All right, I respect it. I think Willie Castro had a really good year. Look, he didn't have the at-bats that everyone else had, but for me, this is a bright star for the future for the Tigers, you hope. And if I were voting on this ballot, I honestly would have struggled picking between Castro and others. I'm going to give him an 8.5. I really am impressed with what this kid did.
Impressive start for Willie Castro. Got to give him credit. He actually had a pretty solid start to his career. Just haven't seen enough of him. He didn't play that many games, so I can't give him an insanely high score. I give him 7.5. I like what I saw, but I need to see more from him.
That's about right. For a kid that didn't play the entire season, that's pretty accurate. So
hey, wait. Before we move on, Nick, I want to give you a present for Willie Castro and for getting AJ Hinch as your new manager. Okay, you ready? There you go, bud.
It's hilarious. Yeah. Okay. To be fair, he didn't know anything about the cheating allegations, so we'll just I'm just gonna leave it at that. What else am I supposed to say at this point?
I really hope he helps your team a lot, and to see the Tigers back in contention will be a lot of fun to watch.
Give us until after college, and then I'll start texting you guys. Be like, hey, we're relevant again. Can we do the show now, please?
Yes. Hey, we can definitely keep going with this after. There's no reason why we can't keep going after college when we work out our job schedules. But that might be moment of the year right there. Marco bringing a garbage can out and smacking it. That was phenomenal. So your official Running the Bases podcast can officially now predict that Kyle Lewis is the Rookie of the Year in the American League for the Running the Bases podcast awards show. That brings us over to the National League side. We started off with Alec Bohm. Marco, you will kick us off with Alec Bohm here.
Alec Bohm. So the thing about Alec Bohm, let me take him look really, really quick. Only 4 home runs, man. That's not really impressive. Just like Jake Cronenworth. I like more Cronenworth than Alec Bohm.
You're a power guy. We know.
Yes.
You bow down to the home runs.
Yes. 4 home runs, like in an NL side league that it's known for power hitting. 4 home runs it doesn't look really good on you. So, but his average though, 338. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So I'll give him an 8 for that one.
That's fair. That's a good one. I think
Sorry,
I'm
a power guy, but I like small ball too. But I'm a power guy.
You're a power guy. We know. We established that at the All-Star break that we had. We know you're a power guy. Then Alec Bohm, I had the unfortunate ability to watch him kill the Mets all year. It was a good year for him. He's a bright spot for this future. I'm going to give him a 9. I think it's fair to give him a 9. He's a good player and did a really good job this year.
Alec Bohm can rake. Great hitter. Has a great future. Big piece of that Phillies organization that honestly just needs pitching to be competitive. I didn't see a whole lot, but there's a lot of promise there. I'm going to go 6.5.
Unlike Marco, I value average way more than home runs, in my opinion. So
wait,
for me,
so you're the opposite of me?
Well, when it comes to batting, yeah.
Okay, you said I'm just like Marco. I'm like, wait, hold up. I value power.
No, unlike.
He said unlike. I heard him say unlike.
Oh, okay.
So I heard it. I caught.
For me, the 338 average is very impressive as a rookie. Almost batting 340. Obviously, we didn't get a huge sample size. Like I'm gonna say it for every player. So it's just interesting to see what he'll do next year. Obviously, 4 home runs is whatever. You could get it up doing 10. That'd be awesome. But I give him a 7.5. Solid player, bright spot for that Phillies lineup.
Yeah, that's going to be a 31 then for Alec Bohm, and I think that's a pretty fair number. But then that brings it up to Jake Cronenworth, and he had a really good year this year. But the only issue that I see is that with the 3 big numbers that I'm looking at in average home runs and OPS, he has numbers smaller than Alec Bohm, who I gave a 9. So I'm going to go with an 8 for Jake Cronenworth here. I mean, it was a solid year, but I don't think he's in Alec Bohm territory quite yet.
Jake Cronenworth, he was middle of the season. He was my pick to win this award. He was killing it. And then he started to fall off in September. I think he had a great year. I think he's proven that he could be a second baseman in the future for the Padres. I'm going to give him a 7.5.
Yeah, you guys said it. Obviously, Alec Bohm has him beat in all 3 categories, but still a very solid player. I thought he was going to win the award at some point this year. So I'm gonna give him a 7.5.
Yeah, like you guys, I was choosing Cronenworth at the middle of the season because the guy was just awesome, a great baseball player. He could play anywhere in the field, outfield or infield, and he could hit the ball. So it just sucks that he went down a little bit at the end. So I'm going to give him a 7.5.
All right. Now, Ryan, what did you give him for your number? I didn't catch it when I was typing.
7.5.
Okay. So that brings hold on. My math must be really wrong here. So we all gave him 7.5 except for me. I gave him an 8. So that's a 30.5. So close, only a half a point behind Bone. That brings us to Devin Williams. And with Devin Williams, we will start off with Ryan on this one.
9.5. Easy. NL reliever of the year. A .33 ERA in 27 innings. What else can you ask of him? He was terrific. 1 earned run the entire year. Easy. 9.5. He's been terrific, and he's going to continue to be a key piece of that bullpen for the Brewers.
Yeah, I agree with Ron. 9.5. The Brewers found their closer for the future, and it's no question. If the Brewers struggle in the first half of next season, I could see him being a huge trade piece at the trade deadline. You know, this guy has electric stuff. This guy knows how to get the job done in the ninth, so I got to give him a 9.5.
Josh Hader, bye-bye. Devin Williams, come in, bro. It's got to be Devin Williams for the future now. If they trade him for some big pieces down the road, then that kind of sucks for the Brewers. But they got a big piece here in their roster now that could really be something big for them, you know. And for to be just a rookie to have .33 ERA, that's impressive, you know. So I have to give him a 9.5 as well. Great pitcher.
This is a really solid spot. I'm having problems with my math right now. I'm trying to add these numbers all up and it's not working well. But I'm going to give him a 10. I really think that this was a great year. I mean, if he wasn't a rookie, we would be looking at this and saying that this was, I mean, if you think about it, if this were, let's say, Kirby Yates or someone who had this kind of year, we would be saying that this is one of the best bullpen years ever. And I think the fact that he's a rookie kind of takes away from that. So I'm giving him a 10. Obviously, we don't know what he would have done in a full season. We'll see next year, but that brings him to a 38.5. And then we will start off with Nick for the last person in this Rookie of the Year race, the one that was not on the ballot, Ian Anderson.
Man, it's a real shame that he's not on the ballot. Because my opinion, like I said before about the Braves, you know, they finally found their pitching staff, and Ian Anderson is a big part of it. You know, I think from going on here in the future, he will be part of that Braves rotation for years to come. Now, he has great stuff, a lot of potential, in my opinion. I'm really excited to see what he can do in a 162 game season. I'm gonna give him a 7.
Wow. Okay. Ian Anderson, he came up big for the Braves, especially in the playoffs. You know, when they asked him to do a job, he did a job. Such a young kid, and has great stuff. So I'm gonna give him a 7.5. But I like his potential for the future.
I really agree. If we were including postseason here, this would probably be a little bit of a higher number. But I mean, the regular season whip's the only thing that drags it down for me. But I'm still going to give him an 8.5. I think this is a solid rookie season for him, and I think he established himself as a big pitcher for the future.
Ian Anderson was great, especially in the playoffs. I think he should have been on the ballot over Alec Bohm. Honestly, I think he was really good this year. I'm going to give him an 8. I think he was really solid, especially in the postseason. Came up big for the Braves when they lost their big pitcher in Mike Soroka.
I would have put him in the ballot besides Cronenworth because of how much he declined in the second half. That's what I would have done.
And Cronenworth actually finished 4th in our balloting because Ian Anderson got a 31, but that means that spots 2 through 4 all finished within half a point of each other. But we can now officially say that your 2020 Rookie of the Year in the National League, as per running the bases, is Devin Williams. I mean, I don't think anyone more deserving. He blew it away with a 38.5, 7.5 points than anyone else. That's pretty big. Then we go over to the Cy Young. And again, we do realize that if you're listening on Blaze, there's only 5 more minutes here in the show. If you want to listen to the rest, you can go over to our YouTube channel, Running the Bases podcast. We're going to be wrapping it up on there. We will make a brief pause once we hit that spot. But Shane Bieber on the American League side, I keep forgetting that I run through these first. I'm not used to that. But, well, actually, we didn't run through the National League side. So what am I doing? We'll go with it. Marco, you'll start it off with the American League side and the Cy Young with Shane Bieber.
Shane Bieber, man. Can you really argue with Shane Bieber? It sucks that what happened to him against the Yankees, but this guy was on track on having one of the best regular seasons if it was a 162-game season. He was on track to have one of the best in history. The guy was just killing the strike zone. 122 strikeouts, man, in 60 games, man. In 60 games. We'd luckily see 200 in a 162-game season. Now imagine if there was 100 more games left to play in the season, a couple more outings for him. I would have seen maybe 230, 240 from him. Who knows? You know, just the guy was just phenomenal. He was just an amazing pitcher. I have to give him a 10. He was just phenomenal.
What a year for Shane Bieber. All around an impressive year. The only thing that does irk me a little bit is the whip. It's higher than Kenta Maeda's was, which is the only reason why I can't give him a 10. But a phenomenal year. And if we were doing quarter intervals, I would give him a 9.75. But I'm going
to be kidding me.
Look, if he had the lowest whip, I would have given him an 11. You know what? You're right. I'm giving him a 10. You're right. Fine. You convince me. You convince me. It's a 10. It's a 10. All right. We're going a 10 with Shane Bieber. That was not me being peer pressured. I concede. Ryan.
Kind of was.
Kind of. A little. Just a little.
Yeah, Shane Bieber gets a 10. You guys hit on the head. Best pitcher in the league the entire year. And I hate that he's in the AL Central.
Arguably one of the best players in baseball this year. There's really no question. I'm bowing down to him. He, by far, I think he should have been a candidate for MVP this year in the American League, in my opinion. So best pitcher in baseball this season, not even close. I got to give him a 10.
Yeah, that puts him at a perfect 40. And well deserved. Our first perfect 40. Look, I was on the fence, but just a little bit of peer pressure added into that. So that gets us over to Kenta Maeda, the former Dodger. Another really underwhelmingly underrated player. I mean, he really should overwhelmingly underrated. What am I talking about? A really good player, though, overall. A really great year for him, too, with a 7.5 whip. That is a 0.75 whip. But
that would be like one of the worst.
I was like, wait a minute, that's horrible. But a 0.75 whip is really phenomenal. That actually led the American League. So I'm going to give him a 9. It was a really solid year for him.
Yeah, Maeda was good for the Twins. I thought that was a great pickup for them. I'm going to give him an 8.
I always feel like Maeda is just so underrated every season. And this year we finally saw him break out and see what he can finally do. And great signing by the Twins, obviously. I'm gonna give him an 8.5.
Maeda, I miss this guy, bro. I miss this guy. This guy was so clutch for us. He was so versatile as a starter, even as a reliever. Never saw him as a closer, but he was just so clutch for us, and he was such a humble guy, and he had a great season. So I have to give him an 8.5. Yeah.
That's a good number. 34 would actually have put him in second place in the National League. And if it weren't for Shane Bieber,
no one's beating Shane Bieber, bro. No one's beating Shane Bieber.
If it weren't for Shane Bieber, Maeda probably would have won the Cy Young this year. It's just unfortunate that he was overshadowed. So that puts him at a 34. But if you are listening on Blaze, we're going to have to cut it off here. Unfortunately, because of time restraints, we're not going to be able to continue. But if you want to hear the rest, you can go ahead and listen on the Running the Bases podcast YouTube channel, which is where we are currently recording this live. So make sure you go over and check that out. We will be finishing this off. If you want to hear the winner of the American League Cy Young and then the National League Cy Young, as well as the MVP voting, and then we will get to that on there. So thank you, everybody, for listening on Blaze. We'll see you guys all next week. However, if you're here on YouTube, we're still here. So you don't really have to worry about that, which brings us over to Hyunjin Ryu. We started off with Ryan, and obviously because, Marco, I know you're going to have to go in a little bit as well. We'll start going through these a little bit quicker so we can get through.
Okay. Hyunjin Ryu. Excuse me, gentlemen. I have the hiccups right now. Hyunjin Ryu, that was a great signing for the Blue Jays. I was a huge fan of it at the beginning of the offseason because they needed an ace, and they got it. And with Chase Pearson coming up, I'm extremely excited for that. Future of the rotation and just the Blue Jays team as a whole. Hyunjin Ryu, I'm going to go with 7.5.
Ryan, hold on. Let me give Ryan a tip to cure your hiccups. If you hold your breath, take a deep breath and hold your arms over your head. It'll make them go away. Just take a deep breath and put your arms over your head. They'll go away.
On YouTube, so
just turn your camera off. Just turn your camera off. Yes, there you go. And then he'll fix that. Nick, you're up.
No, Hyunjin Ryu had a great year this year. Obviously, the Blue Jays rotation now looks solid with Ryu, Pearson, and now they re-signed Robbie Ray. Now that's a nice little three-headed monster they got going on in Toronto. For me, Ryu gets an 8. I think he had a very underrated season this year, and I'm excited to see what he does next year in the full season.
The thing about Ryu is that I think he's finally hitting his stride of like the peak of his career. Because when he was with the Dodgers, his last season, he was Cy Young candidate. And then after that, he left for an ace role. His next season wasn't very good. But now this season, he got better. So I would say he's kind of reaching the peak of his career. So we'll see what happens. The only thing that is lacking of the Blue Jays is that their offense needs to get together and make sure they close out games and give run support to their pitchers. So for Hyunjin Ryu, I will give him a 7.5. I'm gonna go 7.5 with Ryu.
That's fair. I mean, it's a pretty fair number. The biggest issue for me is that whip at a 1.149. I'm a big whip believer. I follow the whip heavily because
you like whipping.
I like whipping in baseball. Yes. The thing with
whipped cream. I didn't say anything else. I meant whipped cream.
Whipped cream is fantastic. It's great. You can get it at Trader Joe's if you want. Trader Joe's.
You work there. Are you a spokesperson for them?
Can they sponsor us? Are they sponsoring it?
Yeah, I wish.
They want to be talked about.
I would love to get them to sponsor us.
I'm a huge Trader Joe's guy.
Groceries, because we're poor college students.
Huge.
Oh my God, Ryan, you still didn't fix your hiccups. You're not taking deep enough breath. Deep breath.
Wait, let me give him one tip. Okay, Ryan, do this. Go to the kitchen and get a glass full of warm water, if you can, or room temperature water, and just chuck it. Just chuck it. Don't stop. Just chuck it. And that works for me every time. So get a full glass of water.
Take a quick shot of hot water.
The other thing.
No. It's not hot water. It's like warm or room temperature.
Got it. Room temperature. I'll go.
The other thing that really helps me is a spoonful of peanut butter really helps me every time too. But I mean,
I've never heard that one before.
It works. I swear. It
works for me. So we don't last for like
yes.
3 hours.
We're having fun. We're out here enjoying ourselves.
Here's the thing: the one who's always been made fun of is Michael, and now it's me, and we need to get back to being Michael.
If you're gonna dish it, you got to be able to take it. That's the only way you can do it. But for Hyunjin Ryu, I mean, look, a really solid season. But like I said, the whip struggles is really a problem for me. I'm going to give him a 7, which brings him to a 30. And then that last person here that, again, wasn't on the ballot, but I think deserves some recognition and probably a little bit more than Hyunjin Ryu did, in my opinion. I mean, the numbers don't lie here, would be Garrett Cole. And for Garrett Cole, we started off with you, Nick.
If you were telling me at the beginning of the year that Garrett Cole wouldn't be a finalist for the Cy Young Award, I would have thought you were crazy. But Cole obviously didn't get off to the best start this year with the Yankees. We were just a little disappointing starting the first half, but once second half kicked in, he was locked in, and especially in the postseason. If this was a postseason award, he would definitely be a finalist, no question. Was the main part of that. He was the best part of that Yankees team all year. So for me, I got to give him like an 8.5. One of the best pitchers in baseball, if not the best pitcher in baseball. Just wasn't the best this year.
Y'all made fun of me when I chose him to be something great in the All-Star weekend, but
Garrett Cole.
Yeah,
we're in Garrett Cole.
But you're last. We still got to go through me, and then we'll get to you. I hope you fixed your hiccup problems.
For Garrett Cole, it was just awesome to see what he did in the playoffs. But this is a regular season award show, so I'm gonna give him an 8. If we were counting regular season, postseason, I would have given him an 8.5. But I'm gonna go 8 with regular season Garrett Cole.
I'm going to go with an 8.5 here. I think an 8.5 is fair because of the way he came back and locked in that second half. You can tell the first half of the season he was just trying to get used to that New York atmosphere. But I think it's really important for him to focus on that second half going forward. So I've got him at an 8.5.
Okay, gentlemen.
Did it work?
I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
8.5 for Garrett Cole. Bounce back. Still one of the league's best pitchers. Just going to a Little League ballpark in Yankee Stadium. Just doesn't help. He's still one of the best pitchers. Still a big fan of his. I'm going to go with an 8.5.
Which wraps him up at a 33.5. What's up, Nick?
I was waiting for you to pick up so fast.
Yeah,
I know. Hey,
it seemed it worked.
You know what? I'm just putting in my scores in the chat and I'm leaving.
no,
It seemed that it worked, Ryan. So did you do mine?
It worked.
Actually, I went against all of you and got a quick shot of orange juice.
Oh, something different. I like it. I didn't know that was a thing. Now I'll know. Okay.
I just went for it.
What'd you say?
Neither did I. I just went for it. Orange juice sounded good.
Okay, I guess Brian's out here discovering new things. So Garrett Cole gets a 33.5 with that, which actually put him in third. But obviously, your winner of the American League Cy Young, which should be undoubtedly in the real voting, is Shane Bieber. Then we throw it over to the National League side. And Marco, I'll let you kick it off with Trevor Bauer.
Trevor Bauer, the best pitcher in the NL, without a doubt. The only thing that sucks for him, that the Reds couldn't give him run support most of the time. That's why he has a 5.4 record, and it sucks. But you have to give him credit. The guy was dealing the whole entire season.
Record means nothing in Cy Young.
Huh?
Thanks to Jacob deGrom.
Record means nothing in Cy Young.
I know it doesn't. But
He disputed that.
Yeah.
He disputed.
No, yeah, like I know that. It just looks like he deserved like a better record than that, but I'm still gonna pick him as my Cy Young Award winner. The guy was entertaining the whole entire season. His vlogs were amazing to watch. How he was competing with Manny Machado over tweets and Rob Manfred. It was just an entertaining season to watch Trevor Bauer. So I have to give him a 10.
Yeah, this is even more of a no-brainer of a 10, clearly for me, than Shane Bieber. This is your best pitcher in baseball, and now he becomes a free agent. I mean, how many times do we see an MVP, Cy Young finalist? Honestly, Trevor Bauer should have been in the balloting for the MVP, but how many times do we see that where you're the best pitcher in baseball, and sometimes even the best player, gets the chance to be on the free agent market the next year? It doesn't happen very often. That's why I'm going with a 10.
Huh? One of the greatest pitchers in this league. Best ERA. Nick, I swear. I
didn't hear anything. I'm sorry.
Nick, we did it at the same time, bro.
Okay. So really what it comes down to is best ERA plus, best ERA, best whip. This dude is insane. The fact that he is a free agent is ridiculous. I gotta go 9.5. He's just been dominant, and I think he's gonna get paid millions upon millions of dollars.
This is, first of all, we hated on Nick earlier for cheating, and now we're hating on Ryan for hiccuping, which is just this has been a really fun show. We've enjoyed ourselves.
Guys, doing my scores. I'll be heading out now.
No. We don't want you to leave, Ryan. We need your input. That's why you're here. You give us the great input that we need. Just because you hiccuped, we're enjoying it. Nick, you're up.
For me, it's no doubter. Bauer gets a 10. Not just because of the way he performs off the field, but on the field too. On the field, I give him like a 12 out of 10, honestly, because he's just one of the most entertaining players on social media. He's not afraid to voice his opinion. He actually stands up to Rob Manfred, which I like. But on the field, dominant. He has a swagger about himself, which I think is so cool. It was a great year for Ohio pitchers this year. Unfortunately, I'm not a fan of either one of them. So, got to give him a 10.
So that brings Trevor Bauer to 39.5. I don't think anyone's going to be able to beat that. We'll start rolling through a little bit here because obviously these guys aren't as high up on the totem pole. Yu Darvish, a great year for him all around, a solid whip. I mean, I'm going to have to go with Darvish. I'm going to go with an 8.5. I think that's a pretty fair number.
That's a fair number. 8.5 for Darvish. Great season with the Cubs. Just didn't win anything. So I'm going to go 8.5 with Darvish.
8.5 for Darvish as well. He really rebounded this year and actually pitched pretty well.
Gotta give him a 9. Best part of that Cubs team, in my opinion.
So that's a 34.5 for Trevor Bauer, which then brings us to Jacob deGrom. Now deGrom, I do think had a better year overall.
Don't give him a 10.
I'm not giving him a 10. No. He's getting a 9 for me. I think a 9, just a little step over. I gave Darvish an 8.5, and I believe deGrom had a better season. I have to give him a 9 if I gave Darvish an 8.5.
again.
No, he had a better season. You can't deny it. You can't deny it. We're just going to go around the horn. We'll go Ryan, Nick, and Marco, and then we'll get through these because I know Marco does have to leave. And even though he's disappointed in me.
I am so disappointed in you right now. We thought we were over the Mets.
It's not. The numbers, he has a better whip and more strikeouts.
Buddy. I say they're equal.
You're doing the whip difference by 0.005. You say it's a better season? Look at his ERA, brother.
That's the Mets bullpen. You have no idea how many times he got taken out and the bullpen blew it.
No.
You didn't watch him. He had like the bases loaded, and then the bullpen would give up a grand slam. It's like, great.
I'm giving my score. DeGrom 8. I'll see you later. I can't after that.
No, please don't leave. He's gonna.
I can't after that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. He hiccuped himself out of here.
He's gonna come back. I'm telling you, he'll come back. What'd you say? What was your score, Nick?
Oh, I didn't even go yet.
Okay.
DeGrom, though, you could say he had a better. I can see the argument for having a better season than Darvish. In my opinion, he didn't have one, but I can definitely see the argument.
Thank you.
Had one of the worst.
You can see it. Doesn't mean it is his opinion.
Well, I can see where he's coming from. He watched him more than we did, and he's a fair point. No, but in my opinion, I got to give this guy. I'll give DeGrom an 8. I think next year he will definitely return to being a top 3 Cy Young candidate. But he just needs to get more run support still, and he needs a better bullpen.
Stick it to the man.
Yeah,
Marco.
7.5. That's
all right.
all I'm saying.
I personally look, you guys all see your teams more. I saw DeGrom this year. He was dominant, and again, the bullpen did cost him. I can't tell you how many times he left one man on, and then the next guy up gives up a 2-run homer, which just hurts his ERA, and it wasn't even his fault. I mean, it's unfair that his ERA got hurt by that so much, which is why I follow the whip, because you can't really follow ERA. However, he still finishes in third at the moment. Then we have Corbin Burns, a really underrated year. Unfortunate that the kid couldn't make the top 3, but I'm going to give him an 8.5. I think this is a great year for him. And I know the way we're lined up now, we'll decide to go with biased. I like that. That it's not biased, but biased. It gets the job done. We'll go around the horn.
Know. That's how it sounds, bro.
I know. We'll go around the corner with Marco, Nick, and Ryan, because we've confused it after Ryan left. We're just making it through.
Man, Corbin Burns, great ERA, 88 Ks. It's the lowest out of the other 3 candidates that are on here. But his whip is pretty high up too, so that's not really good for him. So I'm gonna give him a 7 here.
Yeah, like Marcus said, whip's a little concerning. Solid. You can't even look at records at this point, but solid record. Great ERA, 2.11 ERA. I just want to see what he can do next season. Obviously, like I said, for every player at this point. So I'm gonna give him a solid 7.5.
Sorry, I have my roommate screaming out there because of the Liverpool game. He's screaming his head off.
We can't hear it, so that's a plus, I guess.
Well, I was on mute. That's why, buddy.
Okay.
And now, Corbin Burns, I give him
yeah.
the whip concerning. It's a little high. 88 Ks, just whips a little high. I'm gonna go 7.
All right, that's not terrible. A 30 for Corbin Burns. I mean, he deserves, in a regular year without these 3 star-studded pitchers, he probably would have finished in the top 3. Then we go over, well, first of all, we have to declare Trevor Bauer as the National League Cy Young for the Running the Base podcast. I find it funny that we have to do these voting and picking on the weekend after the election. This couldn't have worked any better. So the MVP, then we go over on the American League side, the final of our 4 awards that we're dishing out today. We start with Jose Abreu, phenomenal year, 317, 19 home runs, a 987 OPS. I am going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to give him a 9.5. I think this is a great year for him, and I think he deserves a lot of credit. Ryan, I'm intrigued as to whether you're thinking I went too high or too low. but we'll see when you get up. We'll see. All right, Marco, you're right.
I'm curious too. Does he think that's too low or too high?
I don't know. I thought it's just right.
Yeah. I think 19 home runs, that's not impressive, bro.
Wait, what?
No.
I give up.
I have to give Jose Abreu a 10. He was a great piece for the White Sox. I have to give him a 10. He was a great player for them. I have to give him a 10.
I love it when players just come up and just win MVP when we don't even have them as our finalists for the predictions. This guy was on a tear. He just didn't care. He led that White Sox team. You know, he said, "Hey, this is my team now. I'm gonna lead the team in average, home runs. You know, had a great OPS. I gotta give him a 10. He's gonna win MVP by far this year.
We hope.
Well, yeah.
Disagree with all of you. Gets a 9. Thought you were all.
Wait a minute. Then why did you yell at me for a 9.5? That's like no different.
Because you guys are thinking he's like the second coming out here.
Well, he had a great season this year.
He had a great season. I don't think he deserves MVP.
What do you think deserves MVP?
DJ LeMahieu.
He's gonna win MVP.
Oh,
No.
He was gonna say
Gordon.
Gordon.
Games this year.
He was gonna say Gordon.
His average is inflated.
What?
Any Yankee fan will tell you that.
It's like the Rockies at Coors Field. Ryan's not having.
It's fine.
He's not having a good run.
He was MVP.
Abreu gets a 9. He had a great season. There we go.
It's a.
Okay, he hiccuped too much.
This has been a really fun show. This has honestly probably been my second favorite behind the offseason predictions. We've had a lot of fun, and that's the important part. That's a 38.5 for Jose Abreu, which is a really great number. But honestly, I see where Ryan's coming from. I agree with Ryan that DJ LeMahieu and Jose Abreu had very even seasons. The 364 average and the 1.011 OPS is fantastic. I mean, a 364 average almost hit the Ted Williams mark. I'm giving him a 9.5 as well. I genuinely give him the exact same score as I give Abreu because I think it's a toss-up for me.
I'm giving him a 9 because the guy missed 23 games. 23 games he missed.
Ryan,
Thank you.
Ryan is so heated.
Thank you so much for
Those
saying that.
23 games make a difference, believe it or not, in a 60-game season. They make a difference. So I'm giving him a 9.
Okay.
Yes, Marco. Yes. That's exactly what I was gonna say. God. 9 for DJ LeMahieu. Great season overall. I'm not trying to say he didn't have a great season. It's just that he just didn't play enough games, in my opinion. The average is going to be inflated, obviously, because you didn't have the at-bats to qualify for that. But 9 for LeMahieu. Solid. Best hitter on the Yankees by far.
Ryan's getting ready to fight.
You guys watched 23 games, 71 hits. Averaging over 2 hits a game. Come on. A 1.011 OPS.
Give me the 23 games, and that is a record season. I'll give you that. But you didn't play the rest of the game.
Come on. DJ LeMahieu should get MVP. 364 average, 71
Want to
hits.
bet on it? Want to bet on it?
You know what?
Yeah.
I love this. Let's do it.
Okay.
How much
10?
are you talking?
10? Oh, no. Let's do 23 for the amount of games that he missed this year.
Yes. He doesn't want to do it.
Okay.
He knows I'm right.
Yes.
You guys are both witnesses. Over. It's
Again,
done.
we don't condone sports betting. We're not betting. We're making friendly agreements. $23 on the line. We also have to
say to all of you right now that I would like to look at a very valuable stat, in my opinion, real quick.
Okay.
Jose Abreu struck out 59 times and drew 18 walks.
And still batted over.
DJ LeMahieu, I said zip it. DJ LeMahieu, 18 walks, 21 strikeouts. The man I just don't get how you guys can think that. It's frustrating. DJ LeMahieu, 10. He deserves MVP.
You're so.
But he's not going to get it on this show. That's a 37.5. That is a point behind Jose Abreu. Ryan, you put up a great fight, but you could not lobby us to change, unfortunately. I gave him a 9.5. I gave him the same score I gave Abreu. So I'm abstinent here in this decision. So then we go over to the last two in this category, which are two really good players, but won't be able to get close to Abreu or LeMahieu, which is Jose Ramirez. I mean, the home runs were there with 17, and the 993 OPS is really good, but I'm going to have to give him an 8.5 just simply because of that batting average being a little lower than the rest.
Just kidding. I have to give Jose Ramirez, I'm going to give him an 8.5. Yeah, not made the Indians relevant, especially with this teammate, Francisco Lindor, who's going to potentially get traded or something.
Sorry.
Be quiet, Steve Cohen.
Everyone's getting blasted today.
I have to give 8.5.
Been ruthless. You haven't hit Marco though, unfortunately. Marco just never does anything wrong. He's at the Dodgers. He's perfect. All right, we get it. Marco's got no flaws. Unfortunate. Brian, you look like you're ready to jump out of a window and hold.
He lost $20. It's fine.
No,
but
I'm going to make you a meme, Michael. I'm going to make you a meme of Steve Cohen.
I agree. I think that's good. But Ryan won the bet of the AL Central. So, I mean, you got to give him that.
I like 2 games.
He still won the bet. He still won the AL Central.
I don't care about your feelings, Nikash.
I forgot how much.
You hired a cheater for a manager.
All right, we're not.
They didn't know they were cheating.
We're not going over AJ Hinch. We're past it. We're on Jose Ramirez. Marco gave him an 8.5. Nick, you're up.
Jose Ramirez. I gotta give this guy. I'll give him an 8.5. Best hitter on the Indians by far. You know, if Trevor Bauer didn't exist, he would be the best player on the Indians team.
Trevor Bauer's on the Reds.
You know, you're right. Shane Bieber. Sorry, Shane Bieber. 2 Ohio pitchers. I'm sorry. No,
he was on the Indians. Then he threw a ball over the center field fence at Kauffman Stadium.
Hey,
292.
Camera, okay?
I talk, please.
Nick gets cut
Mute
off.
yourself for 5 minutes.
Tell him what he told you. I told you, zip it.
Zip it. All right, Nick.
It's official. This is my last show with y'all.
Oh, Ryan, dramatic.
We gotta find someone to pick up for us.
Ryan, you know we love you. This is all in good faith. Nick.
Feelings not mutual.
I'm done. Jose Ramirez for me gets 8.5.
All right, cool.
You guys don't have the luxury of seeing my face. It's nothing pretty, but still, you don't have the luxury.
He's doing this.
Oh, no. It's more like I'm kind of starting to flip all of you off. But hey.
Oh, gosh.
Jose Ramirez, 8.5.
We agreed.
We agreed. Wait. There we go. We did it. That's a 34, boys. We agreed for the first time. I'm so proud of us. And Ryan even face muted himself to do it. I appreciate that. Then the last guy here who really got snubbed from being on the ballot, I think, Nelson Cruz, 303, 16 homers, 992 OPS. I'm giving him an 8.5 as well. I think it's just another really good year.
Yeah, Nelson Cruz, for how late in his career it is, the guy is still raking. It's unbelievable. He's been so consistent over his career. I'll go 8.5 as well.
Mr. Father Time and Nelson Cruz, he's been doing it since his days in the Rangers. He used to tear up the Tigers rotation. He tore up the Tigers rotation in our division now. I'm honestly going to give him a 9. I think he had a very impressive season. No one saw this really coming. 16 home runs, 303 average, one of the best DHs in the game.
Yeah.
It's your turn, by the way.
He's still a horrific hitter. There's nothing that changes that. One of the best DHs in the league. I'm going to give him an 8.5. And I know I was talking until you started, okay? I know, Nikash.
Wait, I can't see you. Can you?
We want to see your face, Ryan. That's the whole point.
I just want to let you know that it was your turn because we just couldn't see you.
Yeah, we're making sure.
You guys see the sound little barrier going off?
We see the dubstep.
Cruz, 8.5.
Yes, that is a 34.5. So Cruz actually finishes ahead of Jose Ramirez, which I give him props for. He really earned that. So then we go over to the National League side, and I know you all are going to yell at me for what I say about Mookie Betts. However, Mookie Betts has a lower OPS and a lower batting average than anyone else in this category. Okay, I'm giving Mookie Betts an 8.5. Marco, you're up.
I was about to say, bro.
I wasn't gonna go below that.
If you give him an 8 or a 7.5, I'll be like,
no. It was a good year, but compared to the other guys, it's not there yet.
I'm just so sad Corey Seager didn't make it into this conversation. He had a great year, though. I just
he's fifth. I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Mookie Betts, though, he came in, he did what he had to do. And that's what we got him for. We signed him for 12 years because of that. But not big numbers as Freddie Freeman. So I'm gonna go with the 9 on this one.
Okay. Oh, Dodgers bias.
Steve Cohen.
He's actually factual. On the other hand, well, you're just biased.
No bias. I'm calling bias.
Okay, Steve Cohen.
Nick.
Mookie Betts, man, struggled out of the gates. I think it's fair to say. Didn't get off to the best start, but I think second half, kind of like Garrett Cole, in my opinion. How to get used to the LA atmosphere. Really turned on the second half. World Series was spectacular. With the stolen bases, the hitting, the power, the defense. Overall, I think
steal a base, steal a taco, baby.
Yeah,
I didn't even get to eat them.
They didn't die, but overall, I give Mookie a 9. A very solid season. Probably one of the better players in the Dodgers, but probably the best player on the Dodgers this year, aside from Seager.
I agree.
Mookie Betts, he was my preseason pick. Paid dividends for me. But I'm going to go with a 9. I thought he was very good. 16 home runs. A 292 average is still very good. An OPS of 927 is terrific. So he gets a 9.
I love it. It's funny because we just hear the sound coming out. It's very funny. What's up, Marco?
So I just want to clarify. Was that a biased opinion?
No, he's not a Dodger fan.
Was it? No. Because I gave him a 9, and that was considered biased. But I have 2 people supporting the 9 as well. So I just want to clear my name.
No, I know.
Marco, you're not biased. Michael's just trying to save himself.
I'm just trying to make sure that we all get hit equally fair.
Life isn't fair, Michael. Get used to it, Buttercup.
Mr. Camera off. I mean, come on now.
You guys don't have the luxury to see my ugly face.
You're really funny, Ryan. So that's a 35.5 for Mookie Betts. I mean, nothing you could say other than a fantastic season. So then we've got Freddie Freeman here. I'm going with a 10 for Freddie. Brilliant year. Carried that Braves team alongside Marcell Ozuna, but carried that Braves team along. What a year for him.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 9.5 on him for this one. I almost gave him a 10. But there were some things that I just didn't like about it. Just kidding. I'm giving him a 10.
Oh, you scared me.
Phenomenal season. No, I'm giving him a 10 because like the guy he's a great guy in general, man. He's a great guy in general. I love the guy. He's my favorite Braves and the whole entire team. He's just so humble. He's a great guy, and he just deserves a World Series. And he just deserves it. And he had a great season, and it just sucks that they couldn't get it done this year. Well, it doesn't suck for me, obviously. But I'm gonna give him a 10.
Okay.
This is one of the feel-good seasons for a player. He thought he was realistically going to die before the season started with COVID. He said his prayers, and he really just performed this season. Just an unbelievable year. He finally gets the recognition he deserves. I think he'll finally win MVP this year, and he deserves a 10 in my opinion. Best player on the Braves by far.
Okay, gentlemen. 8.5 for Freddie Freeman.
He's lying.
I am lying.
Call his bluff.
I am lying. He's getting a 10. Story's incredible after what he battled through before the season. Comes back, leads the league in doubles, runs scored, average of 341, an OPS of 1.102, OPS plus a 186. He was exceptional. He really made up for the loss of Ronald Acuna when he was hurt and when he struggled at the plate. He has to win this award. He has been the best player at the plate and in the league for the National League this year. Freddie Freeman, you're getting the MVP. Congrats, buddy.
I also want to say, as this just broke live on the broadcast, that Alex Trebek, the host of Jeopardy, passed away this morning. Obviously, very unfortunate. Yeah, good old John Heyman with the update, but very unfortunate. Longtime Jeopardy host. It's a tribute to all of us. We are all following in footsteps of him to all try and become hosts in our own way. So I guess we can dedicate this show, even though it's right at the very end, to him. But rest in peace to a very good host of a very good show. So Freddie Freeman. I also forgot to mention earlier that Jose Abreu is our AL MVP. Completely forgot about that. But Freddie Freeman officially with a 40. I mean, unless someone else gets a 40, which they won't, is officially locked up as your NL MVP, which leaves us the last two in Juan Soto and Marcell Ozuna. With Juan Soto, again, you guys mentioned it with DJ LeMahieu. Missing all those games hurt him a lot. However, the numbers were really high. He qualified for the league leader categories, as did LeMahieu. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to give him a 9. It was a really good year for Juan Soto.
And Juan Soto, he came in testing positive for COVID, at the beginning of the season. Just the Nationals didn't do anything. They just sucked. I don't think he deserves to be considered MVP. They just sucked. And maybe Juan Soto will be mad at me if he ever listens to this.
Probably.
I'm a 8. Hey
guys, I just realized something. We're forgetting one of the real finalists of this award.
I know, but blame it to the host, not us.
Because Machado didn't have better numbers than Juan Soto or Marcell Ozuna, so I took him out of this. That's why. We could talk about Machado if you'd like.
I'm done.
It's the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. He took his camera.
The numbers don't lie that the Mets had the same record as the Royals.
Unfortunately, that's irrelevant in this conversation. So, unfortunately.
Hey, at least we have better records than the Tigers.
I didn't say anything.
That's what you get for going at me. You went at me. I'm going back at you.
At least,
he's coming out.
At least out of all of us 4, my team has won the World Series most recently.
All right, Juan Soto. So Ryan, Marco gave him an 8.
Michael.
Yes.
Hey, at least I could say out of all of us 4, my team won the World Series most recently.
Yes, that's true.
My team's won a World Series in the most recent full season.
We know it's longer and it's more difficult to say.
Alex Gordon didn't deserve the Golden Glove.
Are you want to go down? Okay, 8 gold gloves.
Oh boy!
Imagine choking in 2 World Series.
Oh, we're throwing punches. Marco, you asked for that one. Oh boy. You went right for the throat. You went boom. You were like, I'm coming. Oh man. All right. So we'll never know what Ryan has to say about Juan Soto or Marcell Ozuna. But
it was so powerful, I knocked the hiccups out of him.
You did.
Wait, can I go for Soto real quick? I just wanted to say.
Yes.
For what he played this year, the fact that he was even the fact that he's even talked about in this conversation is remarkable. One of my favorite players in baseball, carries just like such a swagger with him wherever he goes. I'm really excited. I think he can definitely be an MVP contention next year also with the full season. But for what he did was amazing. I'm gonna give him 8.5.
All right. So that wraps it up at a 25.5, which unfortunately with Ryan not here, I think we can speculate that Ryan would probably give him like a 6.5. I'd say that's safe to say, but we're not going to do that. We're not going to guess. Obviously, we all wish Ryan was here. It's unfortunate that he left us. I'm sure he has I'm sure he might come back. We'll see. I don't know. Ryan's Ryan. We love him. We love him to death. He's a great part of the show, and he's always making us laugh, and that's important. So Marcell Ozuna with the last spot here, 338 average, 18 home runs, 106.7 OPS. What a great year! First of all, I'm disappointed that he didn't get recognized for the end of this MVP because he really did a great job. And I'm really going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to give him a 9. This was a really great year for Ozuna. Played a full season, and that's all I can summarize it up as.
Yeah, for Marcell Ozuna, I think the biggest reason why he didn't get selected because they wanted to get one player of one team specifically. You know, I think it would have been. People wouldn't have been so, whatchamacallit, intrigued that 2 players of the Braves might have been in the MVP ballot.
It's okay.
But he had a great season, way better than Machado. So I'm gonna give him an 8.5. I'm going 8.5 for.
All right, Nick, you're up.
Yeah, one of the best one-year deals I've seen. Ozuna performed remarkably, 338 average, 18 home runs. You know. Definitely second best hitter this season for the Braves. It's scary to see that Acuna's not even a top 2 hitter on the Braves this season, but I definitely think that'll change next year. Ozuna for me though gets a 7.5. No,
yeah,
8.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, that's a good solid score. Marco, what did you give him? I didn't catch what you gave him.
I gave him an 8.5.
Okay,
that's what I gave him.
And then Nick, I already forgot what you said. You
8.
said 8. That's what I thought you said. So that's 25.5. That actually ties it with Soto. So that's pretty good. So obviously, Freddie Freeman, your National League MVP. There's no question about that. We had no question that he was going to be that MVP. But unfortunately, that is going to be the end of this great show. We had a lot of fun tonight. Not tonight. But obviously, make sure you're tuning in next week for our off-season predictions. We hope Ryan will be back. Obviously, he left, and we hope that he stays. But you never know. Ryan, we hope that you come back, and we hope that you'll partake in our off-season predictions. But thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. We had a lot of fun. Obviously, it went a little long, but you know what? When we're having fun out here, we're going to keep on going, and we're going to ride it out. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys all next time. Enjoy your next week of off-season baseball.